Picture this, you're standing in the middle of a crowded party, drink in hand, surrounded by laughter and conversation that seems to bounce off the walls. Everyone around you appears to be thriving, feeding off the energy like plants soaking up sunlight. But you feel like a phone on 1% battery, desperately searching for a charger. Sound familiar? Here's what I want you to understand right now, and this might completely change how you see yourself. You're not broken. You're not antisocial. You're not defective. What you are is fundamentally different, and today we're going to explore exactly why your brain operates like a high-performance machine designed for an entirely different purpose than the extroverted world around you. I'm going to take you on a journey through cutting-edge neuroscience that reveals something remarkable. Your quiet nature isn't a limitation. It's a sophisticated biological system optimized for deep thinking, complex problem-solving, and profound creativity. Let's start with a simple but revolutionary concept. Your brain runs on different fuel. When we talk about personality differences, we're really talking about neurochemistry. The human nervous system operates on what I like to call chemical currency, and the two main players in this story are dopamine and acetylcholine. You've heard of dopamine, it's often called the pleasure chemical, but that's a massive oversimplification. Dopamine isn't just about feeling good, it's about seeking external rewards. It's the chemical that drives you to hunt, gather, take risks, and engage with the outside world. Here's where it gets fascinating. Extroverts don't necessarily have more dopamine than you do. What they have is a much more active dopamine reward system. Research published in the Journal of Neuroscience shows that when extroverts encounter social stimuli, like meeting new people or taking social risks, their brains light up like a fireworks display. They get a massive neurochemical reward for being loud, fast, and socially aggressive. Your brain, however, is wired with what researchers call high dopamine sensitivity. This means you don't need much dopamine stimulation to feel engaged. In fact, too much dopamine doesn't feel good to you, it feels overwhelming. It creates anxiety, restlessness, and that familiar sensation of being overstimulated. Think of it this way. Imagine a massive concert stadium with 50,000 screaming fans, flashing lights, and thundering music. To an extrovert, their brain is like someone who needs that level of intensity just to feel normal. They require the chaos to feel alive. Your brain, on the other hand, is like a high-quality recording studio, sensitive, precise, and designed to pick up subtle details. You don't need the stadium. A quiet conversation with one close friend can trigger the same level of brain activation that an extrovert gets from that screaming crowd. So when you force yourself into that loud party environment, you're not just socializing, you're essentially taking a delicate instrument and throwing it into a hurricane. Your brain responds by shutting down to protect itself. That's not antisocial behavior, that's intelligent self-preservation. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. If you're not running primarily on dopamine, what is fueling your brain? This brings us to one of the most groundbreaking discoveries in personality neuroscience, the long path theory. Scientists used advanced brain imaging to track blood flow patterns during cognitive tasks. When an extrovert processes information, the blood in their brain takes a short, efficient route. It flows mainly to areas responsible for quick sensory processing, what researchers call the taste it, touch it, say it pathway. It's fast, reactive, and perfect for rapid-fire social interactions. But when you process the same information, something remarkable happens. Your blood takes a completely different journey, what scientists call the long path. Instead of the quick route, your brain's blood flow travels deep into the interior regions. It makes strategic stops at the reticular activating system, flows through Broca's area where inner speech occurs, visits the hippocampus where memories and emotional context are stored, and finally arrives at the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center. Picture this. While an extrovert has already responded to a question, your brain is still conducting a comprehensive analysis. You're cross-referencing the question against your entire knowledge base, analyzing emotional nuances, crafting and editing potential responses, and considering the long-term implications of what you might say. This is why small talk feels so exhausting to you. Small talk demands rapid-fire exchanges that bypass your brain's natural processing style. Your neural architecture wants to go deep, to explore meaning and complexity, but small talk keeps everything at surface level. And this leads to that awkward moment we all recognize. Someone asks you a question and you pause. You might even look blank for a few seconds. They think you're slow or shy, but you're not. You're running sophisticated background processes that would make a computer jealous. But here's the payoff that makes all of this worthwhile. Because your brain prioritizes the prefrontal cortex, the CEO of all mental functions, you have natural advantages in areas that really matter. Complex problem solving, moral reasoning, creative planning, and deep analysis are your neurological superpowers. While extroverted brains are scanning the environment for the next dopamine hit, your brain is bathing in a completely different chemical called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is your secret weapon. Unlike dopamine, which demands external stimulation, acetylcholine makes you feel energized when you turn inward. It's released when you're deeply focused, when you're reading, creating, problem-solving, or engaged in complex thought. Here's what's remarkable about acetylcholine. It acts like a sedative for your muscles, but a stimulant for your mind. This allows you to sit still for hours, completely absorbed in what psychologists call flow state. Extroverts often struggle to reach this state without external pressure, but you were practically born in it. This is why you can spend an entire evening alone with a book or project and feel completely recharged, while your extroverted friends would feel anxious and restless. You're not doing nothing. You're engaging in high-level neural training powered by your brain's preferred fuel. Research conducted at Harvard University reveals something fascinating. People who identify as introverts often have measurably thicker gray matter in their prefrontal cortex. The physical structure of your brain, the actual hardware, is reinforced in areas dedicated to abstract thinking and complex decision-making. Society celebrates the person who speaks first and acts fast, but history tells a different story. The greatest breakthroughs didn't come from chaotic brainstorming sessions where everyone shouted over each other. They emerged from the long path. Isaac Newton developed calculus in solitude. Einstein famously said that the monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. J.K. Rowling created an entire magical universe during a quiet train journey. These weren't antisocial people. They were protecting their acetylcholine supply and honoring their brain's need for the long path. Now, here's where many intelligent introverts make a critical mistake. Because we live in a world designed for extroverts, we often try to adapt by forcing ourselves into their mold. We drink extra coffee to simulate dopamine energy. We memorize scripts for small talk. We put on social masks and try to hack our own biology to fit in. This leads to something I call introvert burnout, and it's far more serious than just feeling tired. Introvert burnout is what happens when you spend too much time operating against your natural wiring. It's like forcing a deep-sea exploration vessel to race on a Formula One track. Eventually, the pressure differential will cause a catastrophic failure. You become irritable, cynical, and physically exhausted because you've been forcing your brain to process information in ways it was never designed to handle. The symptoms are unmistakable. You feel emotionally numb, socially anxious, and mentally foggy. You might find yourself snapping at people you care about or feeling completely disconnected from activities you usually enjoy. This isn't depression or antisocial behavior, it's biological overload. But here's the solution, and it starts with understanding something I call empathy allocation. Because your brain processes social interactions through the long path, involving your hippocampus and emotional centers, you don't just hear people, you absorb them. You unconsciously simulate their emotions, analyze their intentions, and process layers of meaning that others miss entirely. This is why people naturally confide in you. This is why you're such an effective listener and advisor. But this deep processing comes at a significant metabolic cost. Think of your social energy like a sophisticated investment portfolio. An extrovert might spend 1 unit of energy per social interaction, quick transactions that barely register. But because of your deep processing system, you spend 10 units of energy for that same interaction. The mistake most introverts make is spending their limited energy budget on cheap, meaningless interactions. You're bankrupting yourself on small talk, networking events, and surface-level pleasantries that provide no return on your investment. You need to become a strategic investor of your own energy. Research shows that introverts don't thrive in isolation. That's a common misconception. You crave connection just as much as anyone else, but you need vertical depth, not horizontal breadth. 1 hour of meaningful conversation with someone who truly understands you will recharge your batteries more effectively than 10 hours of casual social interaction. This is why you need to start making conscious choices about where you invest your social energy. Ask yourself, does this interaction feed my need for meaningful connection, or is it just noise? Am I engaging with people who appreciate my depth, or am I performing for an audience that doesn't value what I bring? Let me share some practical strategies that work with your biology, not against it. First, honor your need for solitude, but understand what solitude really means. Solitude isn't loneliness. Loneliness is the pain of being alone, while solitude is the joy of your own company. It's during these quiet periods that your brain switches from survival mode to thrive mode. Your acetylcholine levels optimize, you process the day's experiences, and you restore your emotional equilibrium. Schedule solitude like you would schedule any other important appointment. This isn't being antisocial, it's maintaining your mental health and cognitive performance. Second, master the art of selective socializing. Instead of trying to be social with everyone, identify the people in your life who energize rather than drain you. These are typically people who appreciate depth, who ask thoughtful questions, and who don't expect you to be on all the time. Create what I call introvert-friendly social formats. Instead of loud group gatherings, suggest one-on-one coffee meetings, quiet dinners, or activities that naturally limit conversation to meaningful topics, like visiting museums, attending lectures, or taking walks in nature. Third, develop your social stamina gradually. You can build your capacity for social interaction, but it needs to be done intelligently. Start with shorter social commitments and gradually extend them as your tolerance builds. Always have an exit strategy, knowing you can leave when you need to actually helps you stay longer. Fourth, learn to communicate your needs without apologizing. You don't need to justify why you prefer smaller gatherings or why you need time alone to recharge. Simply stating your preferences clearly and confidently helps others understand and respect your boundaries. For example, instead of saying, "Sorry, I'm just really tired," try, "I do my best socializing in smaller groups, so let's plan something for just the two of us." This reframes your preferences as a positive choice rather than a limitation. Now, let me address something crucial for parents and employers listening to this. If you're raising an introverted child, resist the urge to push them into more social activities. Instead, provide them with rich environments for deep learning, books, puzzles, creative projects, and opportunities to develop expertise in areas they're passionate about. An introverted child who feels understood and supported will develop strong social skills naturally, on their own terms. If you manage introverted employees, stop forcing them into open office environments and group brainstorming sessions. Give them quiet spaces, challenging individual projects, and time to think before expecting responses. You'll be amazed at the innovative solutions and thorough analysis they provide when their work environment matches their cognitive style. Here's something that might surprise you. Introverts often make exceptional leaders, but in a different way than extroverts. While extroverted leaders tend to be charismatic and energizing, introverted leaders excel at listening, strategic thinking, and developing others. They're more likely to let their team members shine and less likely to dominate conversations or make impulsive decisions. Some of history's most effective leaders were introverts. Abraham Lincoln, Eleanor Roosevelt, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett, to name a few. They succeeded not despite their introversion, but because of it. Let me leave you with this final thought. The world is becoming increasingly noisy and reactive. We have enough people talking without thinking, responding without reflecting, and acting without analyzing. What we desperately need are people who can pause, who can see patterns others miss because they're too busy trying to be heard. Your quietness isn't a weakness, it's a filter. It filters out the nonsense so you can focus on what actually matters. You're not missing out on the party, you're building something more substantial and lasting. When someone asks you, "Why are you so quiet?" don't apologize. Smile and remember that while they're making noise, you're creating depth. While they're reacting, you're reflecting. While they're performing, you're processing. Your introversion is not a limitation to overcome. It's a sophisticated cognitive system to master and leverage. In a world that rewards volume, be the person who provides value. In a culture that celebrates speed, be the one who offers wisdom. You have a superpower that the loud world desperately needs. It's time to stop hiding it and start using it intentionally. Your quiet revolution begins now. The next time you feel that familiar drain in a crowded room, remember, you're not broken. You're just operating a different kind of engine, one designed for depth, not speed, for insight, not impulse, for wisdom, not noise. And the world needs what you have to offer.